Got it. Okay, now, what did you think? Good? Well, that's good, because now we're going to talk about it with some of the cast. I'm Samantha Heifel from Entertainment Weekly, and I say we bring out our friends. So first up, we will start with Hanna Mangan Lawrence, who plays Teresa. We have Chris Wood, who plays Jake Riley. Executive producer, Miss Julie Plec. We have David Gyasi, who plays Lex Carnahan. And last but not least, we have Claudia Black, who plays Sabine Lomers. Okay.
Ladies to be seated.
It's situated.
Hi.
How are we doing?
Good.
We're good? Everyone's very healthy, which is good. I'm happy to see this. Okay, Julie, I want to start with you because it's not as if when the show came about, you weren't already pretty busy. You have a couple shows happening. So what was it about this show that really hooked you, that you loved so much?
Well, I've always had an affinity for end of the world is nigh kind of programming. Like, I've said this a lot, but one of my favorite books growing up was The Stand by Stephen King. And yeah, it's good. And, you know, I love Contagion and I loved Outbreak and, you know, pretty much anything like that. And so when this came up as a possibility, because it had been done in Belgium and it was a format out of that country, I watched it and I was just obsessed with it. It's so powerful and it's scary but sad but beautiful, and tension is everywhere, but there's like these great human stories, and I just loved it, and it kind of tapped into everything that I've always loved as a reader or as a fan of stuff, plus everything I already do, which is try to dig into, you know, sort of ordinary people in extraordinary circumstances kind of thing.
Yeah, is using an electric fence an actual thing?
Yeah, you know, look, I'm sure somebody would argue, but we tried to be as credible as we could all the way through. So it's not like there's a lot of examples of
Thank God.
Massive citywide quarantines yet. So.
Okay, well, Chris and Claudia, I want to talk to you all, because you all obviously were on Julie Plec shows. Did you feel like that prepared you at all for this? Did you offer advice to anyone?
No.
Working with Julie, nothing can prepare you for working with Julie. I said, it was so sweet when my kids came to set, I said, this is the lady who changed my life with not one but 2 phone calls. So, I mean, that's what it's like for an actor. You're waiting for that next thing that you can get excited about, that you can really sink your teeth into if you're doing a vampire show. But, yuck. But there's something extraordinary, having been in the business all these years, having a boss who's female, who creates, because the culture gets created from the top down. Yeah. So it's really inspiring to be part. And, you know, when my manager said, oh my gosh, Julie Plec is doing a pilot of this amazing show and we've got to get you in for an audition because there's a female role. And I don't remember being so excited before. So
I had very much the same feeling when I read the script. I was so taken with Jake, with the character, and obviously how polarizingly different he is than the other character I played on the Vampire Diaries. It was so... Oh, so you've heard of it. It was so exciting to me to get such an interesting, dynamic character with so many things going on behind the facade of what you see, and just to go from one Julie Plec universe to the other, and having someone with such terrific sensibilities and compassion and care for the work, getting to stay in that family.
It's my birthday. This is great. This is amazing.
But it's like my birthday.
it's actually mine tomorrow.
Congratulations, you made it.
Thanks. I'm pretty tired.
Well, I want to talk to Hanna, because I feel like whenever I see the pregnant person on these shows, I'm like, how scared are you that you're going to give birth to like a creepy infected baby?
Yeah, I'm a little bit scared about it. I think if I do give birth to a creepy infected child, it'd be pretty exciting. It'd be definitely something different, you know. I won't get to do that hopefully in my real life, so yeah.
Well, you never know.
You never know.
Oh gosh,
Thanks for that hope.
this just took a turn.
You can hope. Okay, well, David, I feel like Lex...
Wait, I'm going to lean in.
Oh, okay. Are you ready now?
Yeah,
He's
please.
he's such a professional.
He has so many things going on. He is, the spokesperson for this. He has the woman he loves. He has his friend trapped. What is his biggest struggle?
Not being as great as Jake, probably.
Yeah.
Not being as great as Kai. No. Biggest struggle is, I think it's holding on to what he believes is the truth. And I think that's a struggle that is sort of paralleled with a lot of what the police force today have to go through in America, and perhaps a lot of what we have to go through.
Yeah. Do you get to laugh in upcoming episodes?
Yeah, I do actually. I do. Yeah.
There's
I
a
do.
line. There's a line in like the 5th episode where his girlfriend has said, "Oh," and then Lex smiled, and her friend's like, "That's a lie. He never smiles." And she's like, "He smiles," and her friend goes, "On Christmas."
I think on the 6th episode I might smile.
Okay.
I might.
Everyone wait for it. Episode 6.
It's
It's gonna be
pretty
great. It's gonna be great.
Okay, well, Claudia, I'm interested. In this pilot, we see, just a very professional side to Sabine. Are we going to get more of a personal side to her moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, there's sort of a Sabine Gone Wild episode that it's kind of like a bottle episode where you run out of money in the budget and you just do these kind of flashbacks. It's just all Sabine and what she's really doing in between the press conferences. It's pretty crazy. Just kidding. What's amazing to me is that it's kind of like a bird feeder or a drip feed, that every episode, each person, each character, each relationship that we're tracking, you just get this little juicy morsel, this little tidbit that keeps you going because their lives are starting to open more and more. And so with Sabine, I mean, I think by design, her character is rather mysterious because her whole job is to manage information.
Right.
And she's not very popular because of that. And she's got this, huge weight on her shoulders. So she's not really allowed to be herself. I mean, and I think that sort of similar to me, there are certain things, when you go through life, certain things will affect you maybe early on in childhood, and you develop a certain armor around you, and that's what sort of gets you through. And you get to a certain point where that armor is going to inhibit you from going into deeper relationship with people. And Sabine is in that unfortunate position of probably wanting someone to just sort of hold her and tell her everything's going to be okay, and no one really exists for her, really. It just happened, you see, you just have to ask for it. Did we film that? Is it usable? But yeah, and it's a very interesting dynamic with Lex because she specifically chooses him because she knows people will trust him.
Yeah.
And she really needs him, and yet what she's going to ask of him and what's being asked of her is not the things that create a foundation for a lasting relationship. So it's, whether it be professional or otherwise.
Will she smile in episode 6?
No.
No.
I mean, I also want to touch on Jake and Katie, because it feels like we're planting a bit of a romance potentially. I'm curious.
I don't know where you would get that impression from.
It's all your fault. It's the way you look at her.
Oops.
No, but I mean, Julie, both of you can speak to this. How do you build a romance if they can't touch? Do you build a romance?
That's the whole thing,
That's
isn't
the
it?
best part. I mean, not the best part. The best part would involve touching.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure there.
But I mean, look, there's something beautifully chaste and deeply emotionally intimate about building a dynamic between two people who can't really, if they're following the rules, shouldn't be within 4 feet of each other, and are covered in layers of gloves and scarves and all that. So it's like, I call it like going back to like Jane Austen. I made this joke earlier today. I'm like, it's like, Mr. Darcy, you had to keep your distance because you're a lady, and you couldn't, say how you felt, and you couldn't throw him down and rip off his clothes. So it's just building relationships in different ways. I just like laid out an entire like Jane Austen fantasy in front of you. I'm so sorry.
But it makes it more exciting that there's a definitive restriction on how close they're able to get. And obviously, physicality is a very central way to express the connection that they have. And, at some point in the season, if they continue to have sparks flying, that's going to be something that is going to be in their way. And they can't touch. You can't. It's too dangerous. So that's a really unique relationship to sort of build. It's a very unusual love story.
I have to say this was one of the most intense pilots I think I've ever watched. Never has like a sneeze made me like freak out so much. I'm curious, is this the level of intensity we can expect from every episode?
Yes.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, the scale will shift from episode to episode, obviously. We're not having rioting in the streets every episode, but there's that level of tension that lives underneath everything, like the monster is under your bed at all times or around the corner or in the next room because the virus is under your bed and around the corner. And so always in the midst of these wonderful sort of rich character stories and very slice of life human experiences, you've got this predator that's just lurking. And I think that's what's kind of fun about it is you get to have both the experience of watching a horror movie and a beautiful sort of, nice character drama all at the same time.
It definitely maintains that light-hearted family comedy feeling throughout the whole season.
I was worried.
Yeah.
So you'll break things often?
Yeah, actually,
That's
probably.
my favourite moment too. I said, oh, the screening's happening. I said, already? Am I going to miss the part where Chris bashes the box off the wall? There's something really satisfying. I think he sort of speaks for everybody in that moment, as do you a lot. There's things that we would want to express in those situations, and we see them start to break, and it's,
They just keep a lot of breakable objects on set in case.
Either of you.
In case Chris throws a temper tantrum.
Right. All the time.
Always.
Diva.
I mean, between movies and television, there are so many, apocalypse is very in right now. Viruses are in. What do you guys think it is about that makes it so relatable?
And this is our last question, apparently. We just got the times up.
Get it right.
Viruses are so sexy, is the first part.
Yeah, viruses are sexy, especially on the CW. I think that I don't know, I was saying today that we're in this position with the planet where we sort of have to take care of it because our kids, it really belongs to our children, to the next generation. So we're the caretakers and we're not doing a very good job. Yeah. And, there are people who still ignore things like global warming and say that they're not real, but they are. So we're having in our own lives to really attend to these issues. And something like this could happen. I mean, when you live in Los Angeles, you can't hang photos above, frame pictures above your bed because of earthquakes. There's all sorts of things you have to do to be prepared for the big one, which they say is coming any minute. So I think there's always this idea, with tsunamis and earthquakes, that there's something that's bigger than us that we're not going to be able to control. What's going to happen to us and who are we going to be? And I think that's what we get to explore.
Yeah, I mean, I sit around with my friends all the time, and I'm not kidding. We sit around and we're like, okay, so when the zombie apocalypse happens, you're not invited in my car. Like, I love you, but you will drag me down, and I'm gonna I'm taking that guy. Well, it's a big truck. It's a truck.
Yeah. Like an armored tank? Is that what you found?
I would be under my bed.
Okay, well, we are going to end on that very uplifting note for all of you. But thank everyone for attending. Containment will be on the CW in 2016.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.